Do you have a story to share with the world? Of course you do. We all have stories to share. An Anchor podcast allows you to share your interests in a way that connects to others all across the globe. If you have been considering starting your own podcast and don't know where to begin, Anchor makes it easy to record, edit, and publish with the click of a button. You can even add music. Whether it's crime dramas, self improvement, paranormal adventures, or tips about parenting, you too can share your unique imprint on the world. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. You've got this. I believe in you. Welcome to the Existential Empath Podcast. My name is Tanya, and I am an intuitive empath. My intention is to share valuable tools and techniques that I have learned so you can tap into your own inner healer naturally and intuitively. Welcome back. I hope you are all doing well. We are smack dab in the middle of this Lionsgate energy. So it amps up or peaks on August the 8th. And I am recognizing that I'm receiving a lot more downloads of information. And I do notice I receive more information from my higher self around these higher peaks of energy. So solstice, full and new moons, Lionsgate, those certain times, when the information is just flowing freely because the energy is coming through more powerfully. And I thought I would jump on today and do a quick episode about when to recognize when you are receiving these energetic downloads. And what is an energy download or a higher consciousness download? It's basically a spontaneous influx of information that pours through you, and it can come through in a variety of ways. It's coming from a higher consciousness standpoint, and it can come as a message in a dream, an instant realization or an epiphany, an aha moment. It can also come as written. This often happens with me sometimes. I will start to feel that I need to pick up a pen and just start writing, and all of this information will come through to me. And I know that Wayne Dyer talked about this as well, that many of his books, he would wake up in the middle of the night and he would just have this massive flow of information coming through him. And writers can experience this often. It's like when they say you have writer's block, oftentimes it's because you're not connected to that higher state of consciousness to allow that information to flow through you with ease. It can also come as messages, like maybe you are with someone and you share information with them that they needed to hear in that exact moment, or vice versa, they share information with you. So it can really come through a variety of ways. Music, you look back at some of the famous composers like Bach, and they talked about how the music just came to them, it just flowed through them. And some of the greatest scientists as well, Einstein and Tesla, they would get into these deep meditative states, and they would connect alone in nature, and this information would flow through them very easily. And these were downloads of information that would come from a higher consciousness that would be brought here consciously to assist humanity with expansion, growth. It might be technologically, it could be spiritually, just a lot of information will flow through. And for those of us who are connected to our higher self, to that higher consciousness, this information can flow through a lot easier and a lot faster. Oftentimes, I can connect to the Akashic records. I call them the cosmic web or the cosmic internet, because it's very similar to if I were to jump on my computer right now to research some information. I can do that also with the Akashic record. I can go back to ancient Egypt. I can go back to Lemuria. I can go back to other times to find and retrieve information. And all of us have the ability to do that. It's just a matter of learning how to establish that connection so we can receive that information easier. So when our energetic system is not blocked with unprocessed emotions or trauma or things that are holding us down, we allow our chakras, our meridians, our nadis to be able to have a free flow of energy coming through us. And this information can come through in very different ways through creativity. It can come through the written language. It can come through our voice, through words. And when we open ourselves up to receiving this beautiful download of information, it can heighten not only our awareness, but also those around us. It can activate other people. So these downloads can occur when we absorb this information from our subconscious mind. It's coming through consciously. So that way we can look at it from a different level, so to speak, and it will bring that information in to the present moment. So just like a computer, our physical and energetic bodies can receive upgrades or activations from time to time. And it's almost like we're installing a new computer program within our body, within our avatar. And when we receive this information, it gives us an instant upgrade, just like you would if you were downloading or upgrading something within your computer system. So it's really exciting when this information comes through. Sometimes it can be overwhelming. For me lately, it's been coming through so quickly that I have really had to disconnect. I've had to disconnect from people around me. I've had to disconnect from just doing some podcasts and information because it takes some time to process this information. And I have been spending some time in nature. The last week I've driven to 3 different places and just found, maybe a waterfall or a lake or, a meadow or somewhere where I could just kind of sit on the ground and be one with nature and allow my physical body time to process these energetic downloads or activations that I have been receiving, because they can be very, very powerful. And sometimes they're coming through so quickly that it makes it difficult to process them and to even understand where do all of the pieces of the puzzle fit. It's almost like I'm getting all of the pieces of the puzzle downloaded to me, not in any order. And then I am needing or taking the time to process each piece of that puzzle to put it together so it makes sense to me, so then I can share it, right? Or even not even share it. If it's meant for me and I'm meant to hold on to that information, then I do. But sometimes I do get a nudge to share that information. So, what does it look like when we are receiving a spiritual download? For me, oftentimes in the moment, I will get chills. I've called it the cosmic orgasm in my previous podcast, but I don't know any other way to explain it. It's when I get these chills that run through my feet. It comes up through the earth, up through my feet, up through my entire body, and then it shoots out my crown chakra. And it comes in a form of a chill or a tingle or a vibration. And lately, I have been noticing that when I am in a deep meditative state, my entire body has been vibrating. And I will receive information in those moments when I am in that theta state. So, theta is when you are, for example, right when you're getting ready to fall asleep or right when you're getting ready to wake up, and you're in that lucid state where you're not fully asleep or fully awake, but you are in a theta state. And that's when a lot of the information can come flowing through. Mine has been also been coming through vivid or lucid dreams. And so I do sleep with a lot of crystals that bring me into the dream state, like labradorite, angel light. I do like bloodstone a lot. I sleep with that a lot because it's good for the circulatory system, but it also helps energy move through my body easier. And so I do sleep with a lot of crystals that do induce me into those lucid dream states or vivid dream states. I've talked to a lot of people that some have a difficult time dreaming. They aren't getting into that REM state, or they just aren't remembering their dreams. I would encourage you that if you are getting information or receiving downloads, upgrades, activations in your dream time, to have a dream journal next to your bed and really record those, because it might be a piece to the puzzle that you will need later on in your life as you're moving through this ascension process. You might also be randomly waking up in the middle of the night. This has happened to me in the past. Like I would wake up at 3:33 or 2:22 every single night, and then I would have to sit in a meditative state, just kind of get on the ground and, and sit. And then I would start spinning and this information would start coming through to me. And I would grab a pen and a piece of paper and I would just start writing. And this happened to me once, very, very vividly about what had happened in Atlantis in Lemuria. And I probably will share that on my podcast at some point. But all of this information started flowing through me. And I was like, what is happening? You also may have sudden bursts of energy or the opposite, sudden bursts of needing to sleep and just completely knock yourself out to be able to process this information and these downloads. You could have inspiration out of nowhere. You may receive messages from your inner voice. And this happens to me often because these downloads are coming from our higher self. They are coming from other aspects of us, right? So we have all of this fragmented energy that can come in different forms. Okay, so all these parallel versions of ourselves, all of these past, present, and future versions of ourselves, and these future aspects can come back to us in different timelines, and they can share this information with us. Now, it may not just be someone's a version of myself in the future coming and standing in front of me like you see in the movies or like on Loki or something like that. But it can present itself through dreams and through other bursts of information. You may feel very confused or disoriented. This has happened to me. I've had this massive flow of information. I feel very lightheaded, or I've got to lay down and I feel very out of sorts. And then I take a nap and then I wake up and I feel better and I have processed some information. You could also feel like you are dreaming when you are awake, almost like you are in this really strange observatory mode and your body is going through the motions, but your consciousness is it's really hard to explain, but your consciousness is there, almost like gosh, it's like if you were to see a puppet master with their strings attached to the puppet and your body is kind of going through the motions, but the puppet master is your higher self and it is moving you through stages and moving you through where you need to go or where you need to be, but you don't physically feel like you are in your body. I don't know how to explain that. If you resonate with that, then you understand because you've been through that before. You also may notice drastic shifts in your perspective or your life. This has happened to me specifically. My birthday was back in March. I had a beautiful dinner with all of my friends, and then I grieved that night. I remember laying in bed, I cried and cried and cried. And then I woke up the next morning and I felt completely different. I felt like a different person. I felt much more motivated in my life. I started to be more productive. I noticed myself wanting to put more information out into the world. And so I felt a significant amount of downloads or information and a different perspective came to me. And I am recognizing that that was a different aspect of myself that stepped in to my physical body to assist me during this process. And whatever you call that, you call that a walk-in, you call that a swapped soul. I don't know what it is. I'm still myself, but I just feel different. I feel a more sense of urgency to get information out to people. I feel more grounded. I feel more connected with my higher self. And I am feeling more information flowing through me. I'm feeling more grounded. And I'm not really feeling the need to connect physically with people right now, but I'm feeling the need to connect internally, to connect with my higher self. And so it was almost like this massive shift of everything externally I was seeking. And then the day after my birthday, it was like, whoa, everything internally now I am seeking. So it was like this weird light switch went on. And I started to recognize all of this shift in my own reality. Another thing that I notice when I receive downloads is massive ringing in my ears. So when we receive ringing in our ears, it can be in either ear, it can be in both ears. This is a sign of a download. It can also be a sign of a higher consciousness or a higher energy in your presence, in your energetic space. I can recognize this when I have my galactics come in, or my guides, or my archangels, whatever other aspects of myself, of my higher self come through. I can sense it through ringing of the ears. I can also sense that when I'm doing paranormal stuff, like if I'm out with my friends doing an investigation, whether that be, ghosts or Sasquatch, or, doing CE5 events, close encounters of fifth kind events. I will notice when there is a being in my presence, my ears will ring. And I've also recognized very different changes in pitch. Also, Morse code. I think I've talked about this in previous podcasts. I noticed like a clicking in my ear, like a and I'm like, here I am. I'm getting an activation. For a while before I'd awakened, I thought it was I'm like, is there a bug in my ear? Like, what's going on? But now I understand it's not happening all day, every day, but there are certain moments when I'm getting this really strange kind of information. So I will sit down, and I have noticed when I sit down, I start to write and I draw out symbols. And these symbols are oftentimes light language or cosmic language, that star language that's coming through. So it can come through in a variety of ways. And, um, you could have instant access to higher consciousness or higher information if you utilize it in a way that's beneficial to you. So, it's like if you're seeking knowledge on a certain topic and you're researching that, you want to absorb that information. You want to obtain that information, whether that be through, maybe you speak it out through a voice recorder and record the notes, or you write it down and you document that information. It's very similar with energetic downloads. You want to make sure that you're documenting that information so you can go back to it at a later date and, kind of put those pieces of the puzzle together. Uh, when you are receiving this higher frequency of information coming through, it is catapulting you almost. It's bringing, information through that you did not have before. Now, it was always there. It's always been there in your subconscious. It's just bringing it through to your conscious mind. And this can feel like a full body experience sometimes. I mean, when I'm in a meditative state and that information is flowing through, and that, ripple of energy or that massive aha moment comes through, it can be quite powerful. Now, I'm a fire sign. My sun sign is a fire sign. I'm an Aries. Now, we just moved into Leo season, which is also a fire sign. Oh my goodness, could I feel the passion, the creativity, the rush and flow of energy coming through me? I have been sweating. I have been hot. And holy cow, the information that's been coming through has been almost overwhelming, almost overwhelming. So I do feel when you are in a sign that is similar or comparable to yours, that may be a good time when you receive more downloads. So, say you're a Cancer, you're a water sign, and then you're in another water sign, and you were like, whoa, I'm feeling a lot of information coming through. So, take notice of that as well. There's certain times when you recognize downloads are coming through faster or more powerfully. It could be, maybe you're, spending time taking a walk in the morning. You do a meditative walk, information comes through. Or maybe at nighttime, you do a meditation before bed, information comes through. It can really come through at any time, but you want to just be a little bit more in tune as to when they come through. And when we receive these downloads, our physical body takes a little bit of time to catch up because they're coming through on an energetic level. And then that's why our physical body can take a little bit of time to process them. So when I receive them, sometimes I'll get really hot or sweaty, or my throat will want to clear and I'll start coughing, or maybe I'll get a little bit of a headache, or I'll need to sleep. So just recognize that, because when that information or that influx of energy is coming through, our physical body could have some blockages in it. And, you might want to process it. One of the best ways that I like to process it is through breath work. So when I'm receiving that influx of energy, like yesterday, for example, I had so much energy flowing through me. My heart felt like it was just going to explode out on my body. Oh my goodness, it was so powerful. And so I just laid down on the bed and I put my headphones on and I put on a nice, soft, meditative music. And I did what's known as box breathing. It's where you breathe in your nose for a count of 3, 4, 5, or 6, whatever you choose, and then hold it for that same count, those same seconds. And then you breathe out very slowly for the same, and then you hold for the same. And then you do that over and over and over again, just really bringing the oxygen into your body, and you will begin to notice the energy will move through. So I could feel that heart energy moving up my throat, up into my third eye, and then it moved out through the top of my head. So when you feel that energy, moving through, try to do some breath work if you can. The power of our breath and moving the energy through our body is so powerful, so extremely powerful. So, when we're receiving these downloads and these information, you want to ask yourself, why am I receiving this? What is it that I need to know? And you may not know it in the moment, but that's why I encourage you to document it, write it down, speak it into, I do oftentimes notes in my phone. I'll just speak it because I don't have time to write it down. But you want to know, why do I need this energy? Or why am I receiving this download? And it may come later on. You may receive the information. Say, for example, you receive it in the morning. You go about your day. You run some errands. Maybe you go to work, and then you come in contact with someone else who is like, "Gosh, I'm trying to fix this problem in my life. I don't understand why I'm going through this." And then, boom! Somehow you have a synchronistic moment, or something aligns, and the information that you received in the download earlier in the morning is now information that you are meant to share with this person. And this has happened to me oftentimes. I'll receive a download and I'll have a client later that day. I didn't really know why that information came to me, and then boom, it comes up in our session. So it can come through in so many different ways. And you want to get into that flow state so you can produce these downloads more and more and more. And I have been being more mindful of connecting, with my higher self. I just did a podcast on how to recognize when you're connecting with your higher self. And so, easy ways to do this are through movement. Okay. So maybe going for a light walk, mindfully connecting with nature. You can listen to binaural beats or solfeggio frequencies. Sound is so powerful, and opening yourself up. So the ancient Egyptians were very aware of this. They understood the power of sound and then connecting that with nature as well. So I like to go for walks and I wear my headphones and I listen to higher frequency music. I listen to maybe 528 hertz, 963 hertz, different things. And it will make my body feel lighter. It's almost like, whoa, I'm being lifted up off the ground when I'm listening to this music. Now, if you live in the country and you have the opportunity to take a walk and listen to nature in itself, the birds, maybe a rippling creek, that is even better. That is so amazing that all of your senses, you can smell the nature, you can sense it, you can feel it, you can hear it. Being immersed in creative activities, meditating, dancing, practicing yoga. That's funny. Introspective journaling. Okay. So that is basically where you go within and start journaling and bringing this information to you. Practicing your visualization techniques can be very helpful as well. You want to learn how to activate your pineal gland, activate your third eye, and visualization can help with that. For a long time, I had a very difficult time visualizing, but I have been working pretty diligently on decalcifying my pineal gland, doing more meditations, and listening to certain frequencies. And that has really helped me. It's really helped me enhance my visualization techniques. And if you want to learn how to do that, I do have a few podcasts out there on how to cleanse your pineal gland, because that is the gland that brings the visuals into our third eye, into our mind's eye. So bringing, that in can really be very beneficial. So how do we integrate these? How do we integrate these downloads? And, if we aren't embodying this within our physical body, then it can cause us um, physical symptoms. Oftentimes, like I said, you can have headaches or aches and pains in the body. Um, might feel nausea sometimes if we aren't properly processing this. And so I've talked about in previous podcasts of how to really tune into our body and to listen to it. So if you're receiving a significant amount of downloads and information, and you're noticing yourself getting headaches, then you might want to focus on, what are some trapped emotions that might be causing some of these headaches? What are some physical things that I can do to relieve some of this blocked energy? Because if the spiritual download is coming through, say it's like a river, right? You've got this free flowing river and this energy is flowing through it. And then you have like a beaver dam, for example, it's going to slow it down a little bit, right? It's going to slow it down. It's going to try to find its way around, that, but it's going to still keep flowing through. So if you can correlate the beaver dam, with whatever that blockage is, could be a trauma, could be an unprocessed or trapped emotion, then once we remove that, you can free up that space to allow that energy to flow through a lot smoother. So I've also been really diving into heavy metal cleansing and researching more about minerals and the types of minerals that my body needs. And so that has been helping me a lot too. I do feel when we cleanse our body of these heavy metals, we feel lighter, our physical body's able to flow a lot easier. And so I'm a big fan of zeolite. I have been using that for several years now. And I do have a lot of that information on my website if you want to look more into that. Spirulina is also a good one. I'm a big fan of the medical medium, Anthony Williams. He has a heavy metal smoothie with a whole bunch of different ingredients in it. He's a big fan of the wild blueberries, which I do take too. Cilantro. There are different ways that you can cleanse heavy metals if that is something that you are guided towards, or that you resonate with. And I will say, since I have been doing that, my body feels less pain. I feel a lot lighter. I feel a lot more clarity. And I have recognized a lot more downloads coming through. So for me personally, it's been a big shift. So, just recognizing when you're receiving this information and discerning it as well. I think discernment is key in knowing what information is coming through that's pertinent and valuable to you to anchor yourself into your highest timeline. Because if this information that's coming through is not of value, to you, then it might be time to do some cleansing and to do some shifting in your energetic field. So that way you can anchor yourself into receiving information that is of the highest and utmost potential for you. So that way you can lead your life on your highest frequency path. And that can take a little bit of work, right? It takes a little bit of shifting and a little bit of self-awareness and understanding that information is coming through from your subconscious to your conscious mind, and being able to discern, that information. So I hope that this was helpful. I know that this was kind of a speedy podcast, but I wanted to get some of this information out because right now I am going through this and this has been quite powerful for me. And I wanted to be able to share, some of the experiences that I'm going through. And I am noticing a lot of more number sequences as well. And when I receive these downloads, I have been recognizing 333 a lot lately. And so I'm beginning to sense when I see those numbers, I start to come in contact with other people that are seeing the same numbers. And oftentimes I'm most likely seeing 444. I've seen that pretty much for the past 15 years. And I was seeing it quite regularly, but I have noticed the last 2 weeks a shift to 333. And I start to correlate those numbers and I start to recognize, who are the types of people that are coming into my life that are also seeing these same number sequences. So it can be really fun when we, kind of take a step back and consciously observe and aware be more aware of, what energy is coming into our field, and looking at the patterns and the routines, because the universe works in numbers. It's all about math. And, seeing these number sequences for me, it's like, this is really interesting. I'm recognizing that, 2 years ago when I saw 333, I was connecting with these people. And now, I'm also recognizing that, wow, these people started to come back into my life again, and I'm seeing 333. So it's just been a very interesting observation for me. So, I hope that this information was valuable to you. And like I said, I share this information from my heart, because this is what I'm experiencing. And I hope that maybe even a little tidbit of it can be beneficial to you. So I send you all so much uplifting energy to get you through this beautiful Lionsgate gateway. And I look forward to sharing more with you soon. You deserve to navigate your life as an empath in alignment with health, happiness, and abundance. To learn more about the services that I provide, including Beyond Quantum Healing Hypnosis, EFT tapping, and the Emotion Code, visit my website at www.thesoulcafe.org.